My dad owns this city. Ariana Emerson, 18, says it loud enough for the courtroom to shatter into whispers. The courtroom buzzed with a strange tension, the kind that feels like static in the air, alive, electric, and waiting. Rumors had already made themselves comfortable on the wooden benches before Judge Caprio even appeared. Whispers slithered through the gallery. She's here, the mayor's daughter. The girl who never faces consequences. Even the normally stone-faced bailiff looked as though he had been hollowed out, bracing for the spectacle about to unfold. Then she arrived. Ariana Emerson, 18 years old, rich enough to own neighborhoods, entitled enough to treat city employees like background props. She didn't walk in like a defendant. She glided in like a celebrity stepping into a private lounge. Designer heels clicked sharply against the polished floor. Oversized sunglasses skewed indoors. Phone glued to her hand. Thumbs scrolling with the lazy confidence of someone who had never met the law face to face. Two friends flanked her, whispering and filming discreetly, clearly entertained by her audacious display. No nerves. Only the thrill of watching Ariana Emerson do what she always does. Bend rules, ignore authority, escape consequences. She slid into the defendant's seat as if it belonged to her family estate. Not a nod, not a greeting. Just impatient nail tapping, a strand of hair swatted away like a fly. The bailiff called the case, City of Providence versus Ariana Lee Emerson. Judge Caprio lifted his eyes from the paperwork, calm and measured, absorbing the spectacle with decades of experience. "Good morning, Miss Emerson," he said, his voice gentle, formal, patient, a tone that dared her to challenge it. She ignored him. Slowly, dramatically, she removed her sunglasses, letting her eyes meet his with a blend of boredom and superiority. Then she dropped the bombshell. "Let's just get this over with. My dad owns this city." A collective gasp rippled through the gallery. A few whispered, shocked. Friends nudged each other, thrilled by her performance. But Judge Caprio? He didn't flinch, didn't scold, didn't raise his voice. He simply placed his pen down, as though the calm before a storm had just arrived. "Is that so?" His voice was soft, almost curious, like a teacher questioning a student blissfully unaware of the storm about to hit. Ariana shrugged, a lazy confidence that betrayed her youth. "Obviously, whatever this is, we can wrap it up. My dad will handle it." Judge Caprio nodded, unshaken. "Very well. Let us continue." The clerk read the charges. Reckless driving, 47 miles per hour over the limit. Running a red light downtown. Nearly hitting a pedestrian with a stroller. Verbal harassment of an officer. Attempted influence using a public official's position. Ariana didn't flinch. She examined her nails, whispered jokes to her friends, completely dismissive. "Look," she finally said, leaning back, smirked. "I wasn't going that fast." The pedestrian exaggerated. The officer had an attitude. "I already talked to my dad. He'll clear this up." Judge Caprio's silence stretched. Thick. Weighty. Enough to make her glance up, confused. "Ms. Emerson," he said softly. "Before we go further, I need to understand something very simple. Do you believe the law applies to you?" Ariana blinked, amused. "It applies to the people who don't have lawyers or parents like mine." A low, uncomfortable murmur moved through the gallery. The judge's gaze fixed her like steel. "The law applies to the citizens of this city. All of them, including you." Her eye roll was sharp, defiant. "If you say so." Judge Caprio opened a folder with a red tab, separating it from the rest. "Ms. Emerson, this court has received additional documentation relevant to your case." "From who?" she asked, barely glancing up. "Your father." Color drained from her face. Her friends froze. For the first time, her arrogance cracked. Judge Caprio held the folder like a quiet verdict, letting the weight of the moment settle over her. "For the record," he said, measured, "this court has received a written statement from Mayor Thomas Emerson regarding this case." Ariana's composure wavered further. "He sent something?" "He did. Would you like me to summarize it or read key lines into the record?" She swallowed. "This is ridiculous. He knows I didn't do anything wrong." The judge didn't respond to her assumption. He read, "Mayor Emerson respects this court and the officers involved. He did not authorize his daughter to use his name or position to influence proceedings. He requests that Ariana be treated like any other citizen under the law." The words landed like a hammer. A murmur of shock ran through the gallery. Phones lowered. Eyes widened. "He actually wrote that?" Ariana demanded. "He can request fairness. And that is exactly what he has done," Judge Caprio replied gently. For a fleeting moment, the queen of the city looked like what she really was, an 18-year-old whose safety net had been pulled out from under her. "He's just doing that for optics," she snapped. "It's politics. He'll fix it later." The judge tilted his head, unshaken. "Ms. Emerson, the only person who can fix your choices is you. Your father's letter does not excuse you. It refuses to." Judge Caprio set the mayor's letter aside and opened the main case file. "Calm, deliberate, almost soothing," he said. "Let's walk through what happened. You are charged with traveling 47 miles per hour over the limit, running a red light, nearly striking a pedestrian with a stroller, verbally abusing Officer Reed, and attempting to invoke your father's position for special treatment. How do you plead?" Ariana crossed her arms, casual and defiant. "Not guilty," she said. "The whole thing is overblown. I didn't almost hit anyone. I wasn't speeding that much. The officer had it out for me." Judge Caprio's eyes narrowed slightly. "Did you or did you not tell Officer Reed that your father owns this city and that he would regret writing you a ticket?" Ariana's jaw tightened. "I don't remember the exact words. People say things when they're upset." The judge nodded once, calm, measured. "Fortunately, we don't have to rely solely on memory. We have records." He glanced toward the side. "Officer Reed, please step forward." A man in uniform approached, steady, calm, carrying the quiet authority of someone who faces conflict every day. He took the oath, folded his hands, and began. "Officer, in your report, you stated you initiated a traffic stop after observing a white BMW traveling at 92 miles per hour in a 45 zone. Correct?" "Yes, Your Honor," he replied. "The vehicle also ran a red light at Hanover and Maine, narrowly missing a woman pushing a stroller," the judge added. Ariana scoffed. "It wasn't narrowly missing. She wasn't even that close. The light was yellow when I entered." The officer didn't look at her. His gaze stayed on the judge. "I activated my lights and siren." The defendant did not immediately pull over. She continued for several blocks, filming herself with her phone held near the rearview mirror. When she finally stopped, I requested license and registration. She responded, "Relax. I'm Ariana Emerson. Do you know who my father is?" When I explained the seriousness of the violation, she said, "My dad owns this city. If you like your job, you'll back off." The courtroom froze. Ariana's sharp, defensive voice cut through the silence. "He's exaggerating. I was scared. I didn't know if he was legit. I was just protecting myself." Judge Caprio's voice stayed calm but firm. "Did you or did you not throw your coffee onto the street and say you'd be washing sidewalks after this?" She hesitated. Her friend avoided eye contact. Maybe I said something like that. People talk big. It doesn't mean anything." "It meant something to the person who heard it," Caprio said softly. "And it means something to this court." The judge turned slightly toward the clerk. On the monitor beside the bench, a thumbnail flickered to life, time-stamped, ready to expose reality. "Officer Reed, Did your body camera capture this interaction? Yes, Your Honor. Audio and video. Caprio's gaze shifted beyond the gallery, addressing the unseen audience watching from home. If you believe wealth or family names should not place anyone above the law, tell us where you are in the comments. And if you're over 50, subscribe. What you're about to see is not just a traffic stop. It's a test of whether justice still means something. The clerk hit play. Ariana's jaw clenched. "You can't show that," she burst out. "That's private. I didn't agree to." The judge interrupted gently. "The moment you brought your father's office into this, your words stopped being private. They became part of a public record. This isn't about embarrassment. It's about truth." The gallery leaned forward collectively. Every eye fixed on the screen. Every breath held. The video showed her white BMW idling, music blasting, phone streaming live. Her voice, sharp and entitled, pierced the courtroom. "Are you serious right now? Do you know who my father is?" She mocked the officer on camera. "Guys, look at this clown. He's seriously trying to stop me. Like, babe, my dad owns half this city. Relax." Gasps echoed. Friends sank into their seats. Shock painted the gallery. Officer Reed remained composed. "Ma'am, I need you to lower your phone and provide your license." Ariana leaned back, sunglasses glinting, pointing at the screen. "That video is taken out of context. I was scared for my life." Caprio's voice cut through the room, calm and precise. "Fear does not sound like mockery, nor does it sound like live-stream commentary for entertainment." Ariana's lips pressed together, jaw locked, fingers trembling slightly for the first time. "And there is one more piece of evidence," the judge said, deliberate. "What now?" she snapped. Caprio nodded to the clerk. The pedestrian, the woman with the stroller, had contacted the court after learning her near collision involved the mayor's daughter. Ariana froze. Ariana's voice rose again, sharp and dismissive. "Oh my God, she wasn't even close. She probably just wants attention." "No," Judge Caprio said calmly. "She wants safety." The clerk opened a file, and a written statement appeared on the monitor. Ariana's face drained of color. The judge read aloud, steady and deliberate. "I was pushing my son across the crosswalk when a white BMW sped through the red light. I pulled the stroller back so quickly I nearly fell. If I had been 1 second slower, the car would have hit us. I am reporting this not for revenge, but because I refuse to believe motherhood should require luck." A hush fell over the gallery. Someone quietly covered their mouth. Ariana sank into her chair, smaller, younger, suddenly aware of how fragile her excuses were. "I didn't see her. It wasn't like that," she muttered, voice barely audible. Judge Caprio's calm, unyielding voice cut through. "Ms. Emerson, you didn't see her because you weren't looking. You were live streaming, bragging, threatening an officer for doing what you endangered." Her eyes glistened, but pride held back tears. Then he delivered the first brutal truth. Privilege does not protect you from consequences. It reveals you to them. For the first time, Ariana looked afraid, not of the judge, but of herself. Judge Caprio picked up a folder with a red tab, the air shifting like a storm about to break. "Ms. Emerson," he began quietly. "Up until now, we have reviewed what the officers saw, what the cameras captured, and what the pedestrian experienced. But there is another piece of this story, one that did not come from the police, your father, or this court." He glanced toward Ariana's 2 friends. They stiffened. One avoided eye contact. The other gripped her bag until her knuckles whitened. "This court received a file submitted anonymously this morning, containing a video recorded inside your vehicle before the incident." Ariana snapped her head up. "What? That's not possible. Nobody." She stopped, staring at her friends. Silence spoke louder than words. Caprio didn't comment. He opened the folder and glanced at a freeze frame. Ariana behind the wheel, phone angled up, smirking, cityscape behind her. Ms. Emerson, before you nearly struck a woman and her child, did you record a video of yourself? I don't remember. People post things. It doesn't mean anything. You will tell me whether it means anything, he replied, voice firm. The video shows you moments before the traffic violation. You speak directly to your viewers. You mention Officer Reed. You mention your father. You mention this city. One of her friends let out a small, involuntary sob. Ariana's voice dropped to a whisper. You can't play that here. This is not a private diary, Ms. Emerson, the judge said gently but unyieldingly. You chose to broadcast your words. The world simply answered back. The clerk read a key excerpt. Watch this, guys. This rookie thinks he can pull me over. I'm going to make him regret it. My dad owns this city. Tickets are for people who don't have last names like mine. The courtroom absorbed the words like smoke, slowly, suffocatingly. Ariana stared straight ahead, refusing to react. Caprio folded his hands, calm and deliberate. Did you say those words? I was joking. People say stuff for views. You think everything online is serious? She murmured. I think the mother in the crosswalk was not a prop. I think the officer you mocked is not a punchline. And I think the laws of this city are not content for your channel. Her flinch betrayed her arrogance. Then Caprio asked the question that pierced her defenses completely. Ms. Emerson, when you said your father owns this city, what did you mean? She snapped, desperate. He makes the decisions. He has the power. People listen to him. And you? Caprio pressed. Where does your power come from? Ariana laughed, thinly, faltering. From being his daughter. So you believe borrowed power gives you the right to frighten officers, endanger pedestrians, treat other lives as smaller? I never said that, she shot back. You did, he replied quietly. But the only reason nothing happened is because someone else moved, someone else stopped, someone else adjusted for your recklessness. That is not innocence. That is luck. Her shoulders sagged. You're making me sound like a monster, she whispered. I'm just living my life. No, Caprio said. You're living above other people's lives. There is a difference. The judge studied her. The arrogance remained, but frayed at the edges. When you were a child, did your father ever ask you to be an example? Her eyes flickered. The family is always watched, she admitted reluctantly. People judge him by what I do. And what did you hear when he said that? Caprio asked. That I could do whatever I wanted and he'd fix it. No. That I shouldn't embarrass him. The truth slipped out before pride could intervene. Caprio nodded. And yet here we are. His name, office, reputation, brought into this courtroom because you treated them as a shield instead of a trust. Ariana blinked rapidly, fighting back tears. He's supposed to protect me. He is, Caprio said. From injustice, not from accountability. The line hit like a quiet explosion. Ariana's hand flew to her mouth. One of her friends whispered, Ari, but the word died in her throat. Then a new voice cut through the room. Your Honor, if I may be heard briefly. Heads turned. A man in a suit rose from the back bench, tall, tired-eyed, the weight of years etched into his posture. The gallery murmured. Ariana froze. Dad, she breathed. Judge Caprio didn't flinch. Mayor Emerson, he said evenly. You may sit. This is not your hearing. The mayor lowered himself into the seat, quiet, composed, but exhausted in a way only responsibility can carve. With respect, Your Honor, I'm not asking for special treatment. I'm asking for clarity. Judge Caprio held his gaze long enough to anchor the room in silence. You will have clarity, but not influence. He turned back to Ariana. Your father has already spoken in this court, on paper. He relinquished the very power you tried to wield in his name. Do you understand what that means? A single tear escaped Ariana's eye. she whispered. It means he's not going to save me this time. No, Caprio said gently. It means he wants you to learn how to save yourself. The courtroom quieted even more, the outside world fading away. An 18-year-old girl, long armored by her last name, realized it could reflect her choices, not shield them. Judge Caprio reached for a final page, its red-stamped corner sending a ripple through the room. Ms. Emerson, he began, voice calm but firm. This court was contacted by the Municipal Penalties Bureau regarding a hold placed on your driving record. That hold includes an unresolved bench warrant from a previous citation you failed to appear for. Ariana's mouth fell open. No, that's wrong. I've never been arrested. You must be reading someone else's. Your name, your date of birth, your signature. The judge tapped the page. This was issued 8 months ago. Notices were mailed. All went unanswered. Her face drained of color. Friends gasped. Her father's jaw tightened, but he remained still. Most citations are minor, Caprio continued. Most are honest mistakes. But this file shows a pattern, not a moment. Ariana shook her head, tears streaking her cheeks. Now it wasn't me. My assistant signs things for me. I didn't know. I thought my dad took care of it. And that, the judge said softly, is the problem. You expected your father to carry your consequences. You expected the city to excuse your last name. When it didn't, you ignored it. He lifted the red-stamped warrant for all to see. Failure to appear. Automatic hold. Mandatory detention upon next offense. Ariana's knees buckled. Detention? But I didn't hurt anyone. I didn't think. Thinking about consequences was the luxury you enjoyed, Caprio replied. Others do not get that choice. Officer Torres approached gently. Ms. Emerson, please turn around. Hands rose trembling. Click. The handcuffs echoed through the courtroom, a sound louder than arrogance, louder than entitlement, louder than privilege. Ariana's voice, once sharp and mocking, was now fragile. I didn't know it would end like this. Judge Caprio's voice softened, but remained unwavering. Endings look different when you stop borrowing power and start facing truth. Her father whispered, almost inaudibly, Ariana, sweetheart, I can't stop this. The gallery was silent, holding the weight of a lesson they weren't expecting. Power, privilege, and entitlement had collapsed quietly, but irrevocably, inside that courtroom. As the doors closed behind Ariana, Judge Caprio made one last note. The law does not care who owns the city. It cares who respects it. He tapped his pen once. Court adjourned. If you believe no one is above the law, drop your city in the comments. And subscribe to see more courtroom moments where justice meets power, because some lessons are unforgettable.